My guests are seated, and I have on my right Elvis Darko, who is the editor of the Final newspaper. Good morning, Elvis. How are you?
I'm good. Yourself?
I'm very well, thank you.
I'm good.
Welcome to the show this morning. How was your weekend?
It's okay.
Yeah? All right, okay. And I also have seated Kwame Jantuah, who is a lawyer and the former vice chair of PIAC. Good morning.
Morning,
Kwame.
Chief.
It's been a while.
Yes, it's been a while.
How are you doing?
By His grace.
I haven't yet been in studio. We are calling me Chief now.
Okay, boss. Yeah, the boss here. Okay, boss.
How was your weekend?
A bit sad.
Oh, how come?
A good friend of mine's daughter passed. So,
Sorry about that.
in fact, two good friends.
Condolences. Wow. Sorry
Same
about
age.
that. Goodness, what
different
happened?
people. One was suffering from cancer. One
Oh dear.
died of complications of malaria.
Oh,
So,
sorry. Yeah, well,
and they are young.
yeah, that's always very
Very young.
difficult.
Yeah, it's very
That's always
difficult.
very difficult.
Very, very difficult.
Yeah. Well, it's good to have you here. It's the first time you've been here this new year.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
so
This new decade.
yes.
I don't like calling it a year. I call it a decade because we are planning for 10 years.
Well, it's the first year of the new
yes,
decade.
yes. I looked at when we entered 2020. I looked at my life since 2010
Yes.
to 2020,
Yeah.
and I was trying to find out: has it improved? Have I done things right? I'm not doing. So I like to look.
What
at
did you come
10
up
years.
with?
It's 50-50.
Okay.
50-50.
That's not bad, actually.
Yes, 50-50.
Yeah.
50-50. But by the end of this decade, I would have hit my 70s. So by then, I should be able to be stable. So
All right.
let's
All right,
see.
so viewers, we're going to have a conversation this morning. We're going to talk initially. The first one will be about the compilation of the new voters register. The EC has been talking about saving a whole lot of money on this, and then also we're going to have some reactions from Bryce Simmons and Kenatefa, who say that it's much ado about nothing really, and then we'll also discuss the Dompoase accident and the fallout of that, what government is saying and so on, and what the police are planning to do. All right, so let me begin by reading the story from the Finder newspaper. EC to save 173 million Ghana cedis from acquisition of new biometric voter register system, management system. All right, and the story is on page 2 of the Finder. Excuse me. So I'll not read the entire thing. I'll just read portions of it, and then I'll come back and then we'll begin the conversation. So the EC to save 173 million Ghana cedis. The details released by the Electoral Commission show that Ghana will save millions of Ghana cedis, excuse me, with the acquisition of a new biometric voter management system as compared to upgrading the system. According to the EC, it seeks to save Ghanaian taxpayer a combined total of 173 million Ghana cedis, the equivalent of 30 million US dollars. 18 million savings on the biometric voter management system. According to the data, the country will save as much as 104 million Ghana cedis, which is the equivalent of the cedi equivalent of 18 million US dollars, using the exchange rate of 5.7 if the EC goes ahead with the acquisition of the new biometric voter management system. I'm going to quickly move over to the Herald and read what the story says here. Kenatefa and Bryce Simmons call EC's 400 million voter register needless. As a debate for and against the compilation of the new electoral register intensifies, the executive secretary of the National Identification Authority, Professor Kenneth Ajiman Atefa, says the NIA has all the data the Electoral Commission might need for a credible register. Professor Ateva said the NIA has so far registered 7.2 million people, which is more than 50% of the voting population of Ghana. Adding that the EC, which has the constitutional mandate, can decide to adopt NIA scientific data or even use the Ghana card as the voting card when it successfully completes its registration by March 30th, 2020. Bright Simmons, who's the vice president of the think tank Imani Africa, has also vehemently objected to the EC's case, arguing that the EC is engaged purely in a PR exercise to legitimize a decision they might have already taken. On Newsfile last Saturday, Mr. Simmons faulted the EC for failing to consult political parties, civil society organizations, activists, and other interest groups before taking the decision. All right. Now, let me begin with you, Elvis. Since the story came from your newspaper, 173 million Ghana Cedi savings. It's clear from this report that you don't necessarily side with Bright Simmons and Kenatefa on their position as far as this is concerned. Give us the details of the 173 million and then why you feel the need to go ahead, the EC should go ahead with the new BVM. Yes, BVM.
Well, if you say I necessarily don't side with Bright Simmons, I don't know what you mean by that, but
he says they are engaged in a PR gimmick. That's what they are. That's basically.
Well, but the reasons he gave that they did not consult political parties and civil society organizations and co. Well, it's not compulsory for electoral commission to consult anybody. There is an independent body that's supposed to do their job. If they decide to consult stakeholders, and they did not, if you say they did not, I am not to say the evidence they did not. If you say they did not, how does that become a PR gimmick? For me, you see, we are mixing too many issues on this.
Okay, what are the issues here?
For me, I think we are even misplaced the actual issue that we should be discussing. And that worries me.
Tell us, which is what?
This is a country that we have an election management body. We want to build a biometric system. Biometric is not a one-day affair. It's a process. And you need to have a master plan and follow it so that you can also arrive at the likes of the UK or America where the voter only goes to press a machine thing and then the vote is counted. So you need to have a plan, process, and follow it. This discussion we are having is how I don't really get why we are even focusing on that. We have an old system.
Yes.
Why are we talking about it today? We are talking about it because at the time we were going to do that, we didn't have any master plan and went to buy an off-the-shelf system.
Okay.
And now the vendor says the off-the-shelf has actually outlived its usefulness.
Okay.
So if you want me to retool it and still make it useful for you, this is the cost. And by the figures that we have seen so far, which the old vendor has not challenged, it means that it's going to cost us more maintaining the old system than
to say an upgrade.
To upgrade the existing system. It's going to be more expensive to upgrade the existing system than procuring a new one.
Okay.
It doesn't make sense for me to keep an old system that will be more expensive than for me to go and buy a new one. But you see, that is where we have to realize that the 2012 thing was even bogus. It means we didn't plan it. Because if you had planned it, we will not go and buy an off-the-shelf system. We would have had a master plan to build a system that we will upgrade from time to time to get to a level where I can just go and press on the machine and my vote is counted. But we want to buy an off-the-shelf after 8 years we have been told that it's no longer useful. The current system the EC want to buy, I am not bothered about even the cost. I am bothered about the fact that how is it possible for us to start a system that we can use for the next 40, 50 years? Brazil used 20 years to build a biometric system for their elections.
Okay.
It's a plan.
Okay.
They start from somewhere, they upgrade, add other things, other components, till they get to where they are today. India is the headquarters of IT in the world today. Even in India, they have to rely on a 10-year master plan to be able to start from somewhere and get to where they want to.
Okay.
In this kind of system where EC is going to be there for a longer period of time, you don't go and buy off-the-shelf system. Okay. You want to build a system where today, maybe I'll be giving a paper ID card. Because the vote we are going to vote in 2020, you are not going to be able to do an electronic voting. Okay? You are still going to be giving paper, which after voting, people have to spend time to count before we know who has what or who has that. But the Americans and the UK and other places where we see the elections and after 3 hours we know who has won, it is not paper counting. They are doing a complete biometric system. So when on the day of voting you go, you are just clicking on a machine and the machine already counts the vote. So if we say we are going for a new system, I expect the civil society, everybody to be asking the question, what are we going for? How sustainable is it? How easy is it for us to upgrade it? Do we have the target to upgrade to the day that we will have Ghanaians going to the polls and just pressing on the machine and the vote counting? Is that what we are going to buy? Then what are the various stages that we are going to go through to be able to get there? For me, this should be the argument and the discussions that we should be talking about the new system that EC want to procure. But I think the whole discussion has reduced to why you need it, why you don't need it, is it cost, is it effect? I think that's what we should be talking about. We registered as biometric in 2012. Did you have a biometric voter ID card? No, you were giving a laminated paper. But if it were a system that we had planned, we know that we are starting with a laminated paper, but maybe after 4 years or 8 years, we will be given a biometric card. And then maybe after 12 years, now I go there, swipe my biometrics and it's verified. I'm not voting on paper, but I'm just going to press on a machine that will work. So we need such a master plan that we know that, okay, then we are starting from here, go here, go here, go here, and go here. But the discussion that is going on, I don't hear any of this. So I'm afraid that it seems we are just going to buy another off-the-shelf system, and 8 years, 12 years from now, we will be told that it's no longer useful. And I don't think that that's where we have to go. Professor, take one issue. The EC is targeting about 60 or 70 million voters. You have gone to almost 12 of the regions. You have finished with 12 regions. And you have captured only 7 million people. So I think that Professor Tefua's point has been, maybe he didn't explain himself well. When he said the data protocols that EC needs, it's different from saying that we have the numbers that EC needs to do a voter register. They are two different things. Yes, they are taking the iris, they are taking the fingerprint, they are taking most of your existing ID card. They are taking like about 14 data protocols. So if we had done the national identification and it's even effectively working, even if you can't use the Ghana card, it means that when you submit your Ghana card to any EC office and they swipe and it's verified that it is you, they don't ask you for any information again. They'll just print a voter ID card for you, even if you want to go that way. Okay? So if the national identification has been done and the data well collected, we believe that all adults have been collected, then we are talking about something. Even the 7 million they are talking about, they are registering people from 15 years. So it means that there are even people who are not even at voting age.
That's true.
So let's assume that even those who are not of voting are 1 million. It means that the data they are talking about 7 million is even 6 million. So you cannot rely on NIA data now that we are going to use to do a voter roll call for 2020 election. It is not going to be possible because the NIA is far behind time. And this is where we as a country must see how we are dissipating resources. Because we started NIA in 2007 under President Kufuor. Today is 2020. We are still talking about collection of data. So you realize that we had not prioritized the issue of NIA. But if we needed the NIA data to become a master base for many of the good things that we are doing, we would have prioritized it, provided the funding, and get it done. Okay, the NIA that they are talking about, everybody's talking about, they are building a system that will be upgraded every 5 years. So it's not a system that they are going to do after 5 years and throw away. But when we started NIA, the systems we bought, over $100 million, they just expired and we throw them away. Because they are not a system that we are building for ourselves. We want to buy an off-the-shelf system. So for me, I think that the debate for now should not be about whether we should buy it or not. I think the debate should be that if we are going for anything new, it should be something that has a long plan that we envisage that maybe 12 years from now, I'm not going to be given a paper to vote. But I'm just going to press on the machine and the vote is counted. So for me, the whole debate is from my point of view, the whole debate is somewhere. The only aspect of the Imanis and the Brasimo debate I want to focus on that I think we need to look at is about the cost they are bringing issue.
I'll have to come back to you. Let's take a short break. We'll be right back. All right, welcome back. And we were having a conversation on the new voters register that the EC is planning to roll out. Elvis Darko was making some comments. Let me just finish with him, and then I'll go to...
So as I said, I think I read the Imani, some of the arguments they are making, which I agree with. They are talking about the fact that they listed about 5 African countries which are using this biometric system, and they put together some cost of how they bought some of their BVDs, which are far lower than even what the new system, the cost of BVD, the new EC want to buy. We need to be interrogating all those. Can we get BVDs lower than what the EC is saying? As the Imani has put out in terms of some of the figures, Zimbabwe, some of the countries that have bought similar systems. But for me, who is even asking the question that the system the EC is going to buy, what is their track record in other countries? Is the same system being used in some country for election? What is the record there? That we can say that, oh, it is working in country A and the results and everything is well. Therefore, if we bring same thing here, we are guaranteed. These are questions I expect with the civil society, the media to be asking the EC. Tell us you are going to buy something. Nigeria does it. UK, Germany, America, some also countries do it. So are you giving us a system that is already working somewhere for us to have some confidence that, oh, it's delivering results in country A, B, and C. So if we are bringing same thing here, we should be having some confidence. But if we are not discussing what kind of system we are having, it's even having any record anywhere, and only the cost is the issue we are focusing on, I think that it's completely a misplaced debate. We should take the debate to the right areas and focus. Because if EC goes to buy the same thing like the way we bought STL, it means that 8 years from now we'll have to throw them away and go and buy something else.
All right, thank you. Thank you very much, Elvis. The hashtag is Breakfast Daily. You can communicate with us on that. And if you have any questions as well, you can send us WhatsApp messages on 0550-585-832. And let me come to you, Kwame Jantuah. What are your thoughts on the happening so far? You've heard all the different arguments from the political party side, from the EC side, now also from the NIA boss and civil society as well.
Good morning.
Yes.
Good morning to Elvis and also to our viewers and listeners. I believe that this whole conundrum has been mixed into a certain kind of toxic cocktail.
Really?
Yes, and we haven't actually taken the issue step by step. For me, there are 3 areas. There's the area of the cost, there's the area of trust, there's the area of institutions. Let me start with the area of trust. The electoral system is not trusted. The Electoral Commission, which is the body, is not trusted. And the fact that politicians put the electoral system in place, the supervision of the electoral system in place, is not trusted. Now, if it so happened that we had an independent electoral commissioner who had no bias to any political party, and they came out and said, because of A, B, C, D, E, we need to be able to work on these issues to get a credible electoral system.
Are you saying that current EC is biased?
Who put the current EC in place? The perception is that the person who put them in place is the political party in power. And so, because of that, it is skewed. The perception by the electorate means it is skewed towards that party.
But we didn't have that under Afarijan.
Afarijan was the kind of EC chair who tried to be independent and not pander too much to the politicians. So he was able to create his own environment. And remember, he was there for a very long time.
Yeah.
And he proved that his essence favored the country as a whole and not a particular political party. If you remember, it was the political parties who were trying to put him in a certain net, not generally the electorate.
Okay.
With this one, it's different. The electorate do not trust. When the NDC put Madame Charlotte Osei in place, the electorate thought it was skewed towards the NDC. A similar thing has been done with this one too. And the electorate thing is being skewed. And when you take the meeting with the president and the electoral commissioner, and the type of things the electoral commissioner was saying to the president, making it look as if, look, we are pussyfooting behind you, and the president telling her, do your job, gives that perception that it is skewed. That is the trust element. Now, where cost is concerned, I haven't, and maybe I haven't actually looked, but where cost is concerned, I was expecting that they'll come and tell us, maybe they have, Elvis can tell me or you can tell me, this equipment is X, this equipment is Y, batteries are this, we bought it for X, the lifespan of these batteries is Y.
You mean the old gear? Or
yeah, the old gear. No, they're saying that the old gear is not fit enough for purpose, so they need new gear. The manufacturers have given a time limit on the kinds of machines we have today. This is the expiry period, giving us detail to buttress the cost point. So far as I can see, the cost is mishmash. You know, one is talking 70 something, other is talking 80 million, and they are mixing dollars with Citi. It's confusing. And one will sit back and think they're trying to confuse our minds so that we cannot, ascertain what they're talking about.
But I think you finish, you have to read the final story.
Okay.
Each component of the system,
okay,
they give the cost of the old and the new one. So you can clearly see the
I think earlier on, there was also some reportage we have on citinewsroom.com where it gives you the cost of the new, in terms of the individual gadgets,
yes,
versus the old.
So,
and then upgrading, what the upgrading would cost.
Okay, so,
per piece.
Is it, yes, sometimes when you maintain old things, they can be expensive. But sometimes, if you maintain them on a continuous basis, you don't have that particular problem. And that is one of the challenges we have. We buy equipment, even the police cars that we buy, because we don't maintain them constantly. When a new government comes, we ditch the ones that are probably not, could be fixed, and we go and buy new ones, forgetting the amount of money we spend there. So, probably on the cost, I should revise and actually go into detail and see, whether, what they've said, I agree with. The third is institutions. So, you've got NIA, you've got DVLA, you've got birth and death registry.
Yeah.
How is the Electoral Commission working with these institutions? Because these institutions, they gather data on the population, don't they? And so, how are they working together? In other countries, these institutions work together, if for nothing at all, to make sure that they can cross-check information, to make sure they've got the right number of people they expect for an election. They've got the right number of people who have licenses in that country. They've got the right number of people who have died and who have been born, and they cross-check. What's happening here? Is that the same thing that is happening here today? And see, all this should be done on a continuous basis. I would have loved them to come and tell us that. And yes, Elvis is right with regards to the master plan. This is the master plan we have for the next 10 years, for the next 15 years, for the next 20 years. Built in that master plan is continuity. Continuity of that process to make sure that we don't repeat this particular exercise every 4 years, which we're doing today. And we sit up and we say, the country doesn't have money, but we have money to do this. Yes, if you do not have an electoral system that is fit for purpose, it turns into chaos. We've seen it happen in so many countries. So many countries. And I'm not sure whether it's the right thing to say. Fortunately or unfortunately, at the present moment, that kind of strong emphasis and support for particular political parties is waning. You're getting the electorate being very conscious of what the political parties are doing and making sure that they pinpoint and they question some of their actions. So I'm sure that with this next election, you're going to get a degree of strong support of some political parties, but the wider voters would be those who want to see exactly what these people said they would do, whether they did it, exactly what these people said, whether they would do it, and based on that, vote. But you need a credible system. The system we have today has what? Being able to put the government in place. And yes, I do agree that when you look at the district elections and you look at the national elections, they're entirely two different things. You can't compare the two. But all in all, the arguments that have been made by the Electoral Commission doesn't seem to have convinced Ghanaians. And for me, it's Ghanaians that's most important. Yes, political parties play a huge role, but it's the voter who is more important. Let them come back and let them be able to convince us. The other thing is the timing. So close to the election. You bring in a new system, close to the election. That system fails. What happens? So, in a nutshell, I don't expect the EC to be so intransigent and say whether you like it or not, we are going ahead. Why? Who put the EC there? Why the EC there? The EC, they are not only there for political parties. The EC are there for the people. And they are there to serve the people. So they should listen. Perhaps, President Akufo-Addo will do what he's done best in the past few months of stopping something he doesn't like. And if the pressure is brought to bear on him more and stronger, he might come out and say, okay, let's find a way of working this thing, because it doesn't look as if we have the vote of the electorate that we should go ahead with this process. Now, if it so happens that they decide that, okay, we will put a halt to this, then from that point on, Elvis' plan of a master plan should be put in place. That should be put in place ASAP. And that master plan, they should make sure that everybody understands what is in that master plan. Because where elections are concerned, everybody is concerned. Even the 15-year-old who isn't voting is concerned. Because very soon they'll be voting. And a good education system should be put in place, whereby the young ones who are now approaching 18 would also be tutored on what elections mean and what it encompasses. It's a whole gamut of things that we need to put in place to get a credible election. Now, Elvis was right. You go to America, you go to Britain, they punch a button. Once upon a time, they were where we were. But they've been able to do continuous revision, and they've gotten to where they've gotten to. And we should be able to do that.
Okay, so should we... I do understand that we want to push the envelope and make sure that we are moving the right direction as quickly as possible. But maybe we are also being a little too hard on ourselves, considering the fact that we are relatively a young democracy.
That is an excuse we shouldn't be using.
When
you say relative young democracy.
Let me ask you.
Yes.
Do you think that the swing voter population is growing?
Yes.
It is?
Yes, it is.
All right.
It is growing.
We're going to go to the next story. Let me just quickly read some of your messages that have come through. Wolanyo in Akwetia, when did the EC become dependent for you, NDC? He says, for you to decide for the EDC, for you to decide for the EC. Frankly, NDC is not ready for any consultation. They have already taken their entrenched positions and to reject IPAC mediation. Well, they said they will attend the IPAC, so let's wait to see what happens there, Wolanyo. How can a needy country, he goes on to say, how can a needy country like Ghana waste 173 million Ghana cedis for the sake of maintaining an old register? We are only waiting for the dates to compile the new register. It has to happen. It must happen. There's... Okay, let's move on. Then Musa Abatwa in Kumasi says, can EC tell us the concrete problem that makes the current register not fit for 2020 elections? Just only one reason. However, per the polls done by many media outlets, the majority of Ghanaians say that they do not want a new register. All right. So the next topic that we want to talk about, and I'm going to start with you, Kwame, is the Dompoase accident. The government says that they're going to dualize Central Region roads. That's one. And then also police in Kumasi say that they're going to do on-the-spot license, produce your license. Let me just quickly read the stories, portions of the stories for us to contextualize the conversation. The Roads and Highways Minister, Kwaku Sakyi, has said that the government intends dualizing the Central Corridor, Central Region Corridor, following the recent crash on the Dompoase Road. We try to improve road conditions. Safety measures are being taken, and I quote, he says here, if you look at this stretch, it is one of the best roads in our country. The road is earmarked for dualization. We are currently dualizing part of the Central Corridor. If you talk about the Central Corridor, we are talking about the road from Accra through Kumasi to Tamale to Paga. These are all plans that we are working on, and they are at various stages of implementation. Okay, let me just go and quickly read to you the one from Kumasi. Police to embark on Operation Produce Your Driver's License in Ashanti Region. As part of the measures to reduce road traffic crashes in the Ashanti region, the Motor Traffic and Transport Department of the Ghana Police is embarking on a special operation dubbed Operation Produce Your Driver's License. The exercise will take effect from 3rd February. And it says here, a statement issued by the service and signed by Superintendent Emmanuel Edupwahin stated that this would help clamp down on unqualified drivers and ensure that only qualified drivers are allowed to drive any type of motor vehicle. As part of these measures, there will be a rigorous enforcement of the regulation on the production of original driver's licenses within the region in accordance with Regulation 47 of the Road Traffic Regulation LI 2180. All right. Now, let me ask you, lawyer. It seems to me, in both of these stories, okay, that we are doing more of the same that we've always done. Knee-jerk reaction to tragic incidents, and never a systemic solution. When we look at the dualization of the road story, for example, it seems rather convenient that at this point you are telling us that there's an ongoing plan to dualize all the roads in the center of Ghana, right? And then the police story as well. I mean, I don't understand if there's dualization of the road, which ones and where, okay? We have seen the Kumasi, parts of the Kumasi stretch has been dualized, but it seems like nothing is going on anymore. So which roads are you dualizing? It's good for us to come and tell us that you're dualizing now. What are your thoughts on this?
You took the word right out of my mouth, knee-jerk. As you were talking, you was reading, that's the first thing that came to mind. Knee-jerk reaction. You cannot take pieces of a national development plan and work with it. You cannot do that. Where roads are concerned, where schools are concerned, education is concerned, where health is concerned, where power is concerned, where energy is concerned, where agriculture is concerned, you need a national development plan. Why? Because you need continuity. You need continuity in terms of parties changing and different parties coming into power. And you have that plan there, and we follow it. What is the plan for roads in this country today? What's the plan? What has been the plan since NDC were in power? What has been the plan? Do you know? Do I know? Based on party manifestos. So when a new party comes in, they throw that one away and they start their own. You need a plan to be able to put in the right kind of road infrastructure. And in doing that, you also need a situation where you have a composite safety agenda on the roads. It's not just a question of putting in roads. Once you build the road, the safety you put on the road is key. I've been in that business before, so I understand it very, very well. And you've got to be able to also educate the people. And I'll give you an example. When they built the Cape Coast Road from Yamransa straight through in front of Adisado to past the University of Cape Coast, they wanted to put speed humps on the road. And we realized that those kind of speed humps can cause more problems than solve it. So some of us went out to see, how do these developed countries do it? They had a special kind of material called line flex that they used for these types of roads on those types of roads. So we brought some in and we put them on the Cape Coast Road. It was better than the speed humps. However, complaints started coming in from drivers on that road.
How do those things work?
It's the texture, the kind of texture. The texture is thermoplastic.
Okay.
The paint that you put on the road is called thermoplastic paint.
Okay.
And they come in different variations.
Okay.
And this one is specifically made for speed humps. We put that on the road. And even that, to convince Highways Department to adopt it was a struggle. Was a struggle. And so if you do not put a plan in place as to what should go on the road once the road is built, the safety issues and all that, you don't put it in place. And then, once you put all that in place, the application and implementation of the safety, we come to the licenses you were talking about. The police shouldn't only look at licenses. They should look at the training schools. It's not the license that causes the accidents. It's the people's action and how they drive that cause the accidents. And so you go back to the training schools. How do you make sure that driving training schools are up for purpose and they're doing the right thing? You put in writing exams. And then apart from that, you update the public system, transport system. Because in the UK today, a lot of people are going by public transport. A lot of them park their cars. Some have even sold their cars because they have an effective public transport system. And that is what we should be looking at in this country. But it needs a master plan. It needs a national development plan for that to happen. Without that, it's very costly and it's very, very expensive, and you don't have the kind of continuity you need to make sure that we have good roads in this country to stop the kind of accidents we're having.
All right. Elvis, your thoughts on this?
Oh, we, as a country, that we don't care about people's lives. So we really not bothered to do anything to save people's life in this country. It's pathetic. That's what the situation has been, and it has remained so.
Franklin Kujo says that we should start fining transport companies.
From 1991 to 2016, 46,284 Ghanaians were killed in road accidents.
From when?
1991 to the year 2016. Those who were seriously injured, maimed, was over 124,000 people.
Wow.
Those who were not seriously injured were over 180,000 people.
And part of this is Okada.
Okay, from 1991 till now. Last year alone, accident killed 2,284 people in 1 year. Okay? All these things have been happening, and we are sitting down doing nothing. Last year, we got accident on the Kintampo Road. How many people died? 55. Some were bent beyond recognition. We talked about it 1 week. It was the end of it. Who cares? Next person should die, then we make noise. Then we talk about dualization. When the people died in Kintampo, dualization was talked about. What action was taken? Where are the actions?
I don't remember any single road that has been dualized.
So when you are talking about these things and people make all this, it's like the minister, we are going to dualize road. That's the biggest problem in Ghana. What is the plan? The roads that need to be dualized, which are highways, no single government can do it even in 8 years. The roads are long from Aflau to Elubu. from Accra to Kumasi to Paga.
Yeah.
We are talking about thousands of kilometers of road.
Yeah.
Billions
There's
of dollars.
no way any government can say, I'm going to do it. Any serious country would have a plan in place.
Yeah.
Okay, every budget year, let's put 100 kilometers of the dualization in our budget. Irrespective of which government is in power, we are sure that every year we are doing 100 kilometers of the dualization. 10, 15 years' time, your highways will be dualized. But then you just see everybody, the government will just, oh, I'm going to do this. The Eastern Corridor Road, President Castle, we are going to, where is it now?
Every government has been doing Eastern Corridor Road.
We just have to understand that our development planning
is still doing it.
It's not planning. Because every government just want to take credit, say, we said we'll do this project, and then we clap for them so that we used to get votes. If we continue this kind of development planning, we are going nowhere. We need a master plan from each sector of the country for it to make progress. So if you say we are going to do dualization, I don't expect the minister to say we are going to dualize. I expect the minister to tell me that we have come to realize that dualization will cost the country maybe $3-4 billion. No government can find that money. So the plan we are putting together as cabinet, as a government, is that we want to say that each financial year, let's put at least 100 kilometers and find the money to. So whether there's a change of government or not, it's a national plan that we are dualizing this road. You see, the highways, the reason you need to dualize this is that when you dualize, even when there is accident, the casualty rate is low because there will not be head-on collision. The head-on collision is what kills a lot of people because it's the highway, so they have high occupancy vehicles, vehicles that carry a lot of people, like the 2 buses that happened over the last week. So when there's a head-on collision, the damage is high. So if you dualize, then you reduce them. You actually eliminate head-on collision on the highway. So there may be accidents on the highway, all right, but then the casualty rates will be low because there is no head-on collision.
Thank you. Thank you very much. You've been speaking with Elvis Darko, who is the editor of the Finder newspaper. Thank you, Elvis. And then also to Kwame Jantuah, who is a lawyer and also the former vice chair of PIAC. Thank you very much, Kwame. And thank you, too, for watching this segment of the show. My name is David Kwaku Sakyi.
Hi there. I hope you enjoyed the show. Don't forget to subscribe, like, comment, and share with all of your friends. This is Breakfast Daily on Citi TV.
Join the Breakfast Daily team Monday through Fridays from 7:30 a.m. to 10. Join us for breakfast daily, only on Citi TV.